Hello, Rebel! Good evening and welcome to episode 3 of Foul Language. Today we're going to spend 16 turns on the pitch with Walkerthon. Now, as I said in the intro on Reddit, some people think he might be an elf. Some people think he personally invented, brought Blood Bowl 2 to the Australian masses. But all we know right now is that Walkerthon is absolutely destroying his way through the inaugural season of the Big O. We say, even though he took a loss last week, and we'll not dwell on that too much, Walkathon, but welcome to the show, dude.
Thank you, man. It's a pleasure to be here. No, it was an excellent game. I'm not going to comment on it too much, but you should watch it if you get a chance.
I'll totally give it a try, but there's so many games going on, and they're all really good at the moment. With it coming towards playoff seasons. Now, obviously, we do like to start with a little bit of an introduction about yourself, so if you want to take it away, just tell us a little bit about Walkathon.
Yeah, so my name is Adrian, my first name, so my full name is actually Adrian Walker, hence the name Walkerthon. I don't know if you guys have Walkathons in the UK, but they got the idea because a Walkathon is like, essentially a bunch of primary school kids will get together and just walk around a park for money, for like charity. So that was the idea, but I'm 22 years old and I live in Sydney, Australia.
You're really only 22? I thought we were older than that. I don't know why, I just assumed you were.
No. 22. 23 next year.
He's a little baby, folks. Aww.
Winning the Big O.
Well, now how bad does everyone in the Big O feel? We're being beaten by a kid. Oh my god. I jest. No. So, before we begin, obviously you are from Australia, so there's probably a couple of Australian-themed questions thrown in there from,
about half the questions, I thought.
From like racists and stuff, I suppose. But have you ever punched a kangaroo? An important question before we begin.
It's not a question of have I punched one; it's how many.
Oh, okay. Is that how it works for all Australians, or just yourself?
No, I think it's pretty much everyone. Anyone who hasn't punched a kangaroo isn't really Australian. Anyone will tell you that. Fair
dues. Okay, so we're going to start with the first half questions. Most of these are basically themed around Blood Bowl itself. We have section questions based in each section based around a certain theme. So the first section is mostly Blood Bowl related. So the first question comes from Demu of the Orican Remnants, and to start as we mean to go on, the big question is the pitch in Australia upside down?
Definitely, all of them upside down. It's not only that, the players walk upside down.
So how do you keep your models attached to the pitch? Like a series of magnets, or?
What are you talking about? Just got a blue tack, man. We're not fancy here. Fucking magnets. Look at this guy. Look at the UK must be rich with their magnets. You sent us over here as criminals, right? Like, we didn't get magnets, man.
Sticky back plastic was about the best you were going to get, and even that's
I know.
All right, cool. Okay. So now a more serious question. Now that we've kind of we've got that out the way, because
wasn't a serious question.
It's Demo. It's never a serious question. Why, from Yasmin, from the Is to Speedsters? I always thought it was It's to Speedsters, and I realised when I wrote these questions down, I've literally been pronouncing the coach's team name wrong for 13 weeks. But from Is to Speedsters, why did you choose Orcs this season?
See, this ties in perhaps, like, everyone seems to think of me as an elf coach, and actually elves were just something I fell into. To be honest, when I was playing High Elves, one of the things I was kind of sick of was losing models off the pitch. And I know elves can be really good even when the models aren't on the pitch, but I just like the feeling of being able to stick a player up against a big guy or stick him up against the killer and say, hey, you just take a couple of hits for a few turns. And for the most part, orcs are the most durable and race there is on the pitch, besides maybe dwarves, but I just like the flexibility of orcs a bit more. Just a little bit of extra speed, a little bit of extra hitting power in some sense. So that's why I went with orcs.
And no one wants to be a filthy dwarf coach, right?
Yeah, exactly. And who wants to coach dwarves? I mean, I don't want to say my games are boring, but compared to a dwarf game, oh my god, just can't do that, man.
So, from some kind of wizard of I almost read it as I wrote it down because I always jokingly put some kind of racist of Ice and Dire, but I mean some kind of wizard of Ice and Dire because it's another Australian team question. If you could pick one Blood Bowl team to best represent Australia, what team would it be and why?
Oh, it has to be Norse. Because we never wear shirts, right? I mean, everyone here just walks around completely topless, and then we're all crazy.
Do you all have the big beards as well?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm trying to think what the Yeti would be. Probably just like a big red kangaroo. say. He's got the claws for it.
I thought there was going to be like a drop bear coming out there or something, just to really mess with us, because I know I'm onto that, right? I know what that's all about.
That's Polygon right there. That's what our berserkers get.
Ah, fair dues. So yeah, no. So I didn't see that coming. Although I suppose beaches and underwear kind of goes together.
It's more just the crazy alcohol and rage, I think.
Oh, fair enough.
I guess the other option is Nurgle, maybe.
What is your... This is just a standard question. It doesn't come from any particular coach. It's one we ask every week. What's your favourite skill in the game and why?
Favourite skill in the game? Shit. Give me a second. I'm trying to think of all the good skills that I know. I've had a soft spot for tackle. Actually, I think I've played... After playing in G-Man for a little bit, and getting some tackle and just really appreciating how useful it is against certain characters and how much it screws up certain coaches' strategies of playing a lot of dodge. It's just very satisfying. That or sidestep. Sidestep's always a lot of fun.
Yeah, I just coming from G-Man 1 myself, you develop a certain affinity to tackle and suddenly you want it on invaluable. Every player, right? How many tackles too many? 17?
Well, until every player has tackle, that's still not enough.
So what was your first teams you played within Blood Bowl? It doesn't have to be in Blood Bowl 2. It can be in any version of Blood Bowl, tabletop or Blood Bowl 1. What was the first teams you played, and which one was the first team you truly loved? And that one's from Dreamify from the Jungle Corsairs.
So I played around with a few teams in Blood Bowl. Chaos Edition when I started. I think I had a dwarf team which played fairly well, and I really enjoyed that while I was playing it, just kind of getting the ropes of the game. I think I had a Dark Elf team that I had a bit of a run around with, but my first the first time I played, and I think it was the RPL back then, the Red Perpetual League, before it was REL, was humans. And actually, humans are always going to be my real love. I just love the speed and the versatility of the human team. I just think at the moment, if you really want to be competitive, it's just really hard to do with humans. And there's a few tweaks that the team needs to have before they're really great. And they're a lot of fun, but I think this season I really wanted to just try something a bit different, which is why I went for Orcs and why I went for Elves before, because I found humans need to be more agile than they were. That's why I picked High Elves. And then the rest is history, I guess.
Fair enough. Obviously, we do remember, anyone who played in the G-Man does remember your love for High Elves pretty well.
It was purely incidental. It's just, these are humans that can actually dodge. How great is that?
There we go. Okay, that's fine. I'm trying to figure out which way the pitch is supposed to go on in the background, by the way. So if everyone's
upside down, bro.
Yeah, exactly. That's what confused me. I was trying to see if I could represent that, but no. I should have turned the source upside down. That'd have been pretty hilarious. Now I'm kicking myself that I didn't think of that. Okay, so from Harringzord Bargain Boozers, this is a bit of a longer, more in-depth question, so hopefully you have had a quick look at them beforehand, so you knew this one might be coming. So right now, according to Harringzord, and he's the stats guy, so him and Rod are gonna know when they say something. Are you aware that the Astrogs have the best defensive record in the Big O? And do you consider yourself a good defensive coach? I mean, you probably do now, but did you consider yourself a good defensive coach prior to finding out you had the best defensive record?
Honestly, yeah, I did see this question, and honestly, when I saw my name on the voting thing, we all voted for the Rod of, players of the season, etc. I was really surprised. I didn't even think about that. My strategy is definitely very game to game. I just look at the table and I go, okay, what do I need out of this game? Do I need to win? Can I deal with the draw? What's most likely here? Then when Harringzord kind of came up and said, actually, you've got the best defensive record, I was just really surprised by that, because I didn't consider myself a particularly good defensive coach, just a results-focused coach. And I suppose part of getting results is obviously not conceding. But, there's nothing wrong with being the best defensive coach in Big O. I'll take that title any day of the week.
And would you prefer, finally, as an add-on to that question, would you prefer to win 1-0 or 2-1?
2-1. Every day of the week. There's more SPP in it.
I thought you were going to go there, because that's certainly where I think I'd go with it as well. But, I had to ask.
I'm results focused, man. I mean, 2-0's even better, but, at the end of the day, I'm getting the same SPP.
Now,
the extra points just...
The next question's coming from Sleaze274, which is the Capital Rats coach. Now, Sleaze did drop a lot of interesting questions, some of which I was never going to ask, some of which just made me chuckle, but there was a couple of really good ones mixed in there as well. And, basically, when you set off on your adventure to dominate the Big O, was an all-guard orc team your plan all along? And how many 3-dice blocks do you actually get to throw every game? And finally, at which point would you consider not taking guard on a player?
Yeah, so perhaps this surprise people that guard is not my favourite skill necessarily. I think actually it wasn't the plan when I started. It was simply I noticed I didn't do particularly well in a lot of my first games, but I noticed that how I was playing was that I loved to get Black Orcs in base contact with a lot of players, and I thought the skill that really gets needed here is guard, because then rather than them getting knocked down, they just sit there and support each other, and they're just really good at boxing players in. And to be honest, the Orcs start with 4 block players. I want my blitzers to get the SPP nice and quickly, and they can do most of the hitting. And in most of my games, my Black Orcs tend not to do nearly as much hitting as everyone else, because they don't have block, and I have a few players that already have block. So it was really just thinking, what is the best skill for me here? It seems like guard, because I can just sit them there, teams are going to have a hard time dealing with them, and then I can use the speed of the blitzers to run around them. So it wasn't premeditated, to answer the question in full.
Because, I mean, it's one thing that we have picked up on a lot on the when we do the recaps, is that a lot of coaches do choose block or mighty blow early on, and you just developed guard everywhere. So it's like
yeah, for sure. I think... Yeah, sorry to interrupt. I think it's just... I don't know. I didn't think it was that weird a thing. Like, guard is a very powerful skill. And so I just thought, oh yeah, guard will be fine. But everyone was sort of like, oh my god, he didn't take block. And I thought, oh, is that taboo? Am I allowed to do that here?
Well, am I not building right? Is that not how it's done?
Yeah.
Alright, the final question of the first half, and we're kind of coming up towards the first half in the replay as well, so we're not too far off schedule as far as... it's just been a lot of bashing and a lot of injuries going on. I think there's 3 injuries already and it's turn 6.
Yeah.
So clearly you don't need that mighty blow.
That was a nasty game, I think, that particular one.
Which one rule or player would you change if you had the chance? It's one of our regular questions, it's not from a specific coach.
Yeah, which one rule or player? I think I think the human catcher is definitely my vote. I think maybe Gamba said this last week, but I think he's a character that could really make the human team into a better tier to really bring them up to being the real versatility that they need. And either giving him an extra strength or an extra agility or something, or even keeping that extra armor in, just to make him a character that provides... You don't just need one of as a safety or whatever, but can actually do some really nice running around. To me, would make the human team a lot better.
I strongly agree. I mean, I have to say, it's actually only after we talked about this last week that I was talking about it on the Blood Bowl Facebook group, and it's only when you stop and think about it that the human catcher not in Cyanides because it's got the extra armor, the human catcher in the base game, he has a skink stat line.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't even have stunty. Like, what are you going to do with him?
But he's as strong as a skink. It just doesn't make any sense. That I just feel like humans are really getting short shrift as far as their catchers go. So yeah, I'd love to see a catcher changing myself. And I don't. How do you feel about the 10k price drop? I mean,
a bit. I mean, in the tabletop, it's not meaningless. Like, if your strategy is to be humans and have a lot of catches that you just cycle out, which I know a lot of people do, they just keep a catcher for 16 SPP and push them out again. It's pretty good for you to be able to buy a cheaper catcher, but 10k in the long run is pretty insignificant. I'd say I'd rather have pay 20k extra, get a strength or something. Like, it'd just be so much better.
Yeah, in a developed team, no one's going, oh, 10k, woo. That's like, maybe if you have 3 catches, you saved on a double or something.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what you're looking at. Like, it means practically nothing.
All right. Well, it's interesting to see that. Obviously, a lot of the community has very similar thoughts on that because a lot of people are coming back to answer that question, going human catches. So it's interesting. Yeah. So the second half, we're kind of moving a bit more onto the season and the admin-y type side of things, and generally the kind of outside, off the pitch kind of stuff. Although the first game, I'm saying that off the pitch kind of stuff is actually an on the pitch question. What has been your most memorable game this season? Once again, Sleaze coming in with the big questions from Capital Rats.
Ooh. The game I had with the sleeves almost takes the cake. To be honest, all the games that I lost are the ones that I really remember. The craziest one, I think, has to go to playing against Brain on Slugs and his undead team, Duck Confederacy. It was just a crazy game all around. Like, we were both pretty evenly matched, and it really just came down to who got the lucky roll of the dice. In the very last turn, he was 1-0 up, and he had the ball in the back of his field. I blitzed him with my strength 4. I had my guard orc standing next to 2 other players, the blitzer, and the ball scatters. It doesn't scatter out because he's next to the side. The ghoul drops it. My guy catches it, standing next to 2 other players on a 6. He needs to make one go for it to make it to the end, and a dodge. He makes the dodge, and falls on the go for it with no rerolls.
Oh.
That was it. But it was just, that's my most memorable moment so far. But that game was just amazing. It was just a great game all around. And to be honest, I haven't had a bad game yet in the Big O. It's been great, or in G-Man either. All the games have been really amazing.
So it's I actually have played. I've said this almost every recap, but I actually bumped into Brain on Slugs in the in Call. And he's genuinely a lovely chap as well. He was just dead friendly.
Oh yeah, he's great.
We were talking with through all the game. He takes dying players with a pinch, as a good Blood Bowl coach should. He just go, oh well, he died, moving on, kind of thing. And
yeah, it's been my experience with everyone in the Big O. To be honest, I feel everyone's integrated really well. I think just because it was just last week, Sleaze was just really good, or Lynx if you preferred that. Just really chatty. Everyone's been really chatty. Everyone's been happy to watch players die or get big hits or lose games. It's all been in good spirit.
Which is important, and it's one of the things I love about the community is that almost without exception, we do have a really solid community who can, dish out the banter as well as they can dish out the punches.
Oh no, for sure, it's great. We can't be too nice here. I think we all understand.
Right, this one from Squiggy, from the admin team, rather than from an actual as one of our coaches. And I think it's kind of it's not a surprise that he's asking this kind of question, knowing what he does for the league. But what inspired you to volunteer with the rookies, and who out of our rookie league has impressed you the most this season?
Yeah, so I'll start with the first question. My belief, especially when I came in, I just came into this community just as a player, and I just got really involved with it. And eventually, now I'm on the admin team nominally, which is great. I'm really enjoying it. But part of that is I believe that any good community is built from the ground up, and it's built from bringing in fresh blood and keeping it fresh and keeping people enjoying it. And the real test of a community is, can you bring some new people in and get them hooked and get them involved? And that's really what I wanted to do. And I thought the best way to get people integrated is to start introducing them around with that mentoring program to people who were big in the community, who could offer them help. And I think it's done really well. I've only heard positive things back from it, and it seems both the mentors and the mentees are having a really great time, which is excellent, in my opinion. As far as the best player goes, in the rookie league, I haven't watched any of the games, but just looking at the table, I've been really impressed with Zuak and his Wood Elf team, Treat Kundo, because he has a special place in my heart because he was the first guy I set up for mentoring with Venuchar. And he actually seems to have pulled himself up and really taken on Venuchar's sort of style of play, that very hardcore Wood Elf, results-focused game that Venuchar loves to play.
Quite an aggressive... Yeah, Venuchar's a very aggressive style for Wood Elves, which certainly the first time I played him took me aback. It took me a season to get my head around how he actually manages to pull it off without just his team imploding.
Oh no, it's incredible. I love that he's taken that to Zuak, and I love that Zuak's been sort of willing to accept that and play that way. But I've been really impressed from just little bits though, seeing of all the rookies. Like, everyone that's come in has pretty much said, I've learnt something. I feel like a better player, and that's mostly what I want to hear. That's great.
That's awesome. As I say, I'm really impressed by a lot of their attitudes as well. They're coming in, I think maybe because of the mentors, they're hanging around the experienced coaches who are going to teach you that players die and suck it up, kid, kind of thing. But Zuak especially, I don't know if you're on the Squiggy's Rookie League Discord as well, but basically Zuak, even coming in as a new coach, set up the Discord for Squiggy's Rookie League from scratch. And he's super active on there, and he's always trying to help. Even though he's a new coach himself, he's always in the advice channel, answering other people's questions if he can, or directing them to people who can help them. So I think he's got a really, really good attitude, and I'm super looking forward to seeing if he decides to take the big step up into the Rebel this season. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, for sure.
Good shout there.
thumbs up to you, Zua. Keep going, man. That's great.
Right. The next question 3 of the second half. From Unstabler, from We're Revolutionary. And it kind of ties in a little bit with the last question. What advice would you give coaches who are going to start in Rebel next season? Whether they're coming from the rookie league or whether they're coming in fresh.
When coming in fresh, be part of the community. I think that's what you're going to get out of it most. If you're just playing for the league format, I mean, that's fine, and you can enjoy it. But I think what really brings out the best of the game is being able to, chat to your opponent, get to know them, get to know the people in your own division, because they're the people. Like I talk to pretty much everyone in the division almost every couple of weeks. I'll say hi to someone or the other, just talking about how the results have been, how they're going. Just because people get excited about it, and people say to me, "You're doing really well and good luck," or "I'm really close. I'm hoping to get the next win." But everyone's keeping up with the table, at least in the Big O, and I think it's not a big commitment, and it's a little effort for a lot of return, in my opinion. That being said, if you enjoy the game just being played without any of that, that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
I have to say, I do kind of agree with you on that. I mean, I certainly have, the 2 games every season I looked forward to in G-Man 1 were my game against Demu and my game against Kejarus, because, I've played them, season after season. We stepped up together through the G-Man, and Kejarus and Demu both re-rolling, because I think they missed me. I was the first one to, and that was the re-roll. But that kind of, I think that does, I agree with you a lot, that the community we've built, and the community that, we say we've built, we can't take that much credit for it as admins, can we really? It's the coaches who are doing
No, it's the people. Work. It's the people, right? And I think we've just been really lucky in a lot of ways to get people who have been really good, and we've managed to identify a section of the community. I know Blood Bowl can be a bit toxic, but we've got a section of the community which are all the really good people. And as you say, I moved from G-Man, and I still keep in contact with all the people I played with in G-Man 3 months ago, because they're all great people.
Awesome. Cool. Right. From my stairs, from Naituse Ni, one of our REL coaches, who is your most feared coach? Across all of Rebel, which coach would you not want to see drawn again? If because obviously you are going to the playoffs for the Super Bowl. So it's a shoe-in, and you are going to get a bye. So who are you hoping gets knocked out in that first round, or who would you not want to get drawn against in that second round?
Can I get 2 choices maybe? Definitely my most feared coach is Hamboy. Because every game I've played against Hamboy, he has been brutally efficient, and just a player that really sees the patterns in the game exceptionally well, and has built a great team to play his way. I want to give an honourable mention to Sanjun as well, because he's similar. But the other coach that I really fear, with a lot of respect, is Venachar. Because Venachar and I think, especially when I was playing High Elves, we've played a lot of games against each other, and it was always really equal, but you never really know what to expect from Venachar. And he just provides so much dynamism to the game. It's great.
Yeah, they are. I mean, G-Man 1 is stacked with just scary, scary coaches, and I think you just named 3 at the top of my list as well, to be honest. Moving away, well, I suppose, we're not quite moving away from Blood Bowl, but moving away from the video game version of Blood Bowl. We've got a multi-part question coming from Sandoon, actually. Why are Aussies so Aussie was his first question. And I added that in here because it's kind of tying into him being part of Team Kiwi, because, he wanted to know, why are you guys so Aussie, and do you play tabletop Blood Bowl?
First question is, what do you expect if you get a whole bunch of people who are just essentially convicts and you ship them over to a big island with nothing on it? Well, I don't know if you were expecting anything different besides a race of crazy alcoholics, but am I going to play... I have to make a confession, I've never played tabletop Blood Bowl. I played 40k, a little bit of 40k, but Blood Bowl was something I was really born into on the digital scene. But funnily enough, it's almost brought me full circle and going, actually, I really want to play some tabletop now. Now that the new set's out. So perhaps you will see me on the tabletop scene in Australia if you're ever down here.
Well,
sometime. He
added on to the Do You Play Tabletop Blood Bowl here by actually saying he's going to the State Championships in March in Melbourne. And if you're interested in going, Team Kiwi have got 2 teams. There's a North Island and a South Island team, apparently. And he basically wants to know if you're going to go and get drunk with him in Melbourne when he goes to play State Champs.
I definitely might take him up on that offer. I may not play any games, but I definitely willing to go get drunk.
Go along dressed as a Dark Elf cheerleader and wave your pom-poms, maybe?
No, man, that's just me normally, right? Like, just really getting into the Blood Bowl.
But yeah, no. As I say, because it is, it's just, you and Sandu aren't a million miles away. Him being Australian, you being. I mean, I say that, but then again, Australia is like a ridiculously big country.
Yeah,
a lot of people who aren't aware of it, don't quite comprehend how huge Australia can be. I think.
Well, I'll give you a bit of scale. Over the weekend, I drove 300 kilometers to go on a retreat with some friends with work, and then I drove through the own kilometers back the next day or 2 days later, and that was completely fine. To me, that was just a regular holiday. It was 4 hours driving, so yeah, I think in Europe you'd be in a different country at that time.
Well, in England we'd pretty much have done one. We went across the width of the country easily in England.
I didn't even get to a different state, so I didn't even get halfway.
Right. Okay, where are we? What other games do you enjoy? This is just a regular question, not coming from a specific coach. What other games do you enjoy playing? Video games, or if you've got other board games or tabletop games that you enjoy. I know you mentioned 40k, but in general, what do you do with your spare time when you're not playing Blood Bowl?
Yeah, I'm pretty multifaceted with my games, to be honest. I grew up playing a lot of FPS and RTS games, so Age of Empires 2. I say I'm probably a bit younger than most of you, but I grew up Age of Empires 2 when I was about 7 or 8, just really enjoying that. And then I got into Call of Duty 1 back when I was about 12. Classic time to get into Call of Duty, but that was when it was still cool, right? So I do play my fair share of FPS games, but I was playing a lot of Dota 2, Heroes of New Earth, League of Legends for a period. I was playing a lot of Team Fortress 2. Team Fortress 2 is a big part of my high school life, and now Overwatch, so I'm playing lots of Overwatch. RTS games, I've played Company of Heroes, some semi-competitively for a long time. Total War, I'm a big, huge Total War fan. Shogun 2 is definitely one of my favourite games. Yeah, I think I could keep going, but let's just leave it at that for the moment.
Picking up on the Total War, have you played Total War Warhammer?
I have.
And are you excited for the Woodies?
I didn't get into Total War as much as I did as in Shogun 2, but I think Wood Elves are going to pick it up for me. I think I just didn't really fit into it the first time, but this time it's going to be. I was playing a little bit of it yesterday, and I was really enjoying it. So yes, I am excited for the Woodies.
And dude, they have a Truman with a giant wooden sword. I mean, come on, that's instantly got to sell you on it, right?
No, exactly. It just has to happen now.
Okay,
it's going to be awesome. Also, Civilization. I should put that in.
Yeah, Civ's a great game, but it just takes like Total War and Civ. They all just take forever to actually play.
No, for sure.
So who would win in a fight? I'm sure you meant Beast of Nurgle, but he actually went for Beast of Burgle, or the average wildlife in Australia.
Yeah,
that was from Motley from the Boost. I told you there'd be a few more racist questions thrown in.
No, this is good. Because I was thinking about this, right? So, official advice for tackling a kangaroo is you just kind of have to get behind it, right? So if you get it by the neck, just give it a few good punches to the head, you're guaranteed to win. You just got to watch out for the claws. And to be honest, I think the Beast of Nurgle is practically the same. If you can get behind it, just get around its neck and give it a few short, sharp jabs to the head, I think you're on a winner there. So, probably about the same. I reckon it's 50-50 there. So depends on the size of the Beast of Nurgle.
So you heard it here first, folks, and Motley from the Booze Cruise specifically. If you ever get cornered by a Beast of Nurgle or Australian wildlife, just donkey punch it, apparently.
Yeah. Just go in for it, man. You got to be aggressive. They smell your fear.
And for my personal question, for the last question of the second half, how you doing, man? Because I know you weren't well for a good while, and I've still got to ask. I can't get my head around it. But how the heck does an Australian get bloody pneumonia? It is pretty funny, isn't it? And I think I'm much better. Thank you for asking. I'm actually doing really well now. In fact, I'm feeling better than I felt in months, probably. To answer the second question, how does an Australian get pneumonia, is we always have like a sick season where normally it's when the season changes, a lot of pollen comes in. I'm asthmatic, so I usually get a cold and about this time, and I just had my regular cold. It was maybe a bit worse than usual. But the pneumonia virus tends to backpack on these other little viruses, and so it came on really quickly. Like within a day, I was like just going from coughing to being like, "Holy shit, I need to be in hospital." Can I swear? Is that okay? Yeah, we tend to.
Can I say that?
Well, you've done it now, so I'll edit it out in post, which is the big joke that I'm not going to go back and edit at all because it's a one-take kind of scenario. But yeah, I'll get it in post. Don't worry about it. But yeah, as I say, it sounds horrible, but it just kind of always made me chuckle at it. It's like, you're in Australia, dude. That's certainly not something that... Maybe it's just me being British, but it's certainly not something I associate with being Australian.
Yeah, man. More like alcohol poisoning, am I right? It was just a really extreme case of alcohol poisoning, let's be honest.
No,
that's what gave me pneumonia.
It was just a bad hangover, is what you're saying to me right now.
Yeah, exactly. Just a regular Sunday, really.
Okay, fantastic. Well, that's the end of the second half. Now, we do tend to do like a couple of quick fire questions that don't really mean anything. We just throw them at you to see what kind of attitude you have towards a certain facet of the game. So for these 5 overtime questions, we're going to assume you're in charge of Cyanide's DLC policy. Which sounds like a very scary position. You know, being in charge of anything in Cyanide is a pretty scary.
All you're about to say is I'm going to make a bunch of people really angry with these next couple of questions.
So, if you had a choice, if you're sat there and stuff's coming across your desk, which of these 2 options would you put in the game first? And I'll give you 2 options and you just got to pick one. You don't have to justify it, you just have to let me know what kind of a person you are. And the first question is going to tell me if you're a horrible person or not anyway. So.
Oh, Jesus.
So yeah, would you put halflings in first or goblins?
Goblins.
Okay, you're clearly a wonderful person. Would you put racial cheerleaders in first or racial stadiums?
Ooh, cheerleaders.
That's cool. Because I love her a good redhead, but I think it's time to get something else in there. Maybe a redheaded elf.
Maybe even like cheerleaders that are not identical. Maybe we can just start with that.
Yeah, why are they? Why is there like 6 or 7 cheerleaders that are all identical sisters? It's like it's.
I hear they're all from the same family.
Speaking of this, you've actually just scored a touchdown, and there is 9 identical cheerleaders waving the pom poms on screen at this moment. So we couldn't have timed that better, really.
Oh, excellent.
Would you put ogres or vamps in?
Vamps.
Armor upgrades for experienced players. Like in Blood Bowl 1, as they went and leveled up, they got more and more upgrades. Or would you put more customization options in for level 1 players?
More customization options.
Okay, and finally, Amazons or Chaos Dwarves?
Ooh, Amazons, we already have dwarves.
Fantastic. Alright, brilliant. Well, you've survived the full 16 turns on the pitch and the overtime. And you got a 2-0 victory, apparently, in the background, so that's nice.
Excellent.
Have you got anything else you'd like to add or say at this point? Or
yeah, I'd just like to say, well, firstly, thank you for doing these interviews. It's great. I'd like to thank everyone on our media teams, actually anyone who's releasing videos, anyone who's making content, anyone who's making regular posts. You guys are the real heroes of Rebel. You guys keep us chugging. You guys keep people interested. And also thanks to all the admin team who do all the stuff behind the scenes. And finally, thank you to all the coaches that keep playing every week because, it sounds cliche, but without you guys, the whole thing isn't possible. So thanks to all of you guys. It's been great.
Speaking of media as well, have you seen our recruitment video for Season 5 yet? That Anne Dawson put together for me? I'll link it to you after the video. It's
going to be exceptional.
It's a beautiful thing, dude.
I'm excited.
But okay, so this has been 16 turns on the foul language, 16 turns on the pitch with Walkerthon. Next week, we are going to be the last of the scheduled coaches, which is Squiggy from our rookie league admin team, and he's single-handedly put together just a massive amount of rookies into, and he's done more to add coaches to the Rebel than anyone else. He's bringing in I think it's 60-something coaches.
Yeah, it's crazy, something like that.
Yeah, he's got the sign-ups on Reddit at the moment. So if you've got any questions for Squiggy, that will be the next episode of Foul Language. I'll create a Reddit thread shortly after we post this video. We'll get them in. Otherwise, I'll see you next week, folks. And thank you once again, Walkerthon, for joining us. It's been a genuine pleasure, my friend.
Thanks very much, guys. Cheers for medal.